I'm Steve Prescott. I'm running for student body president.
I'm Lizzie Barker. I'm running for student body vice president with Steve.
Personally, I was involved in student senate as a freshman, and I currently sit on something called the Legislative Youth Advisory Council, and I like this type of thing. I like helping people. I think we bring really good ideas to the table, and there are a lot of problems at UNH, and a lot of them haven't been addressed, and I want to help address them.
Yeah, I have very similar motivations. I too was on student senate when I was a freshman with Steve, and I think that I've tried experiencing different organizations here at UNH. So I've worked with UNH College Democrats and other orgs, kind of ad hocly or from time to time. And I think there are a lot of things at UNH that we could improve, or just not just totally reform, but reform a little bit or address problems that haven't been addressed more effectively. And we're both going to be seniors next year, so we're not exactly timid to make changes, big changes.
I mean, our number one issue is restoring funding to the university system. If you go around the university and ask students, that's the thing they care about the most. Governor Hassan has proposed the current funding is at $55 million for the entire system. She proposed $75 million in the first year of the budget, and then $90 million in exchange for UNH freezing its in-state tuition. That's a good start. We'd like to see more. We'd really like $80 million or a little bit more, because a $15 million gap between years for an exchange of tuition freeze means that if there has to be an increase on out-of-state students, it would be pretty drastic. So we would like that number to be closer together. But hopefully, actually, with my position on the Legislative Council, I hopefully will have a meeting coming up with the governor, and we're going to be pushing that as a council. But the biggest thing is going to be organizing, if we win, the other student body presidents and vice presidents in the system, students, parents, and alumni, because the only way that we're going to ensure that it gets restored is to put pressure on the State House to have it happen.
Some of our other platforms include revising the parking system and the advising system at UNH. And we've also been interested in other things too. Those are our three main platforms. We're also kind of interested in updating medical literacy, and even when we were going around talking to students here at UNH, maybe reworking how bias is treated here at campus.
So my name is Ryan Merrill, and I'm running for student body president.
I'm Will McCarnan. I'm running for student body vice president.
We have been essentially preparing for 2 years. When I first came on campus, I ran for first-year senator, got it, was elected with the most votes. William was a hybrid senator, and through our hard work and writing of legislation, I am now the chair of the $1.2 million Student Activity Fee Committee, and Will is the student business manager and also the chair of the Fee Oversight Committee. Our thing, the biggest one, is the affordability of UNH. So Will and I, over our 2 years, have accrued over 1,500 hours doing student advocacy, an additional over 1,000 hours in working with student finances. And through that, we've gained a lot of expertise in fundraising and working to cut costs and maximize value. And so we're going to apply that expertise not only to our main issue, which is making UNH more affordable, but also to all that we do, because we've actually been aggregating issues from every student we talk to. We set up the UNH Please Complain campaign so that people could enter their complaints, and we try to address them as best we can, and talk to administrators, that type of stuff. But definitely our biggest thing is making sure, both fee-wise and financial-wise, students can afford to go to UNH and they get their value out of UNH. The reason students should vote for us is because, like I said, Will and I have been preparing for this for 2 years. We would not run if we didn't feel we were qualified. There's a lot of other people out there who they have vision, and I would admit that most people running probably have a vision. But the key difference here is that Will and I both have vision and a plan, and we have the tools, respect, and expertise to actually implement those. We have spent like I said, a cumulative 2,500 hours between advocacy, student finance over the past 2 years, 4 years combined Senate experience, cutting costs, working to increase value, working to increase UNH's fundraising issue, and also going up to the state legislature, advocating on students' behalf. I have testified on a number of bills up at Concord, making sure that the finances of UNH, so we get restoration of funding, and also, maintaining a representation, because they were trying to cut UNH's vote out of the University System of New Hampshire Board of Trustees, and so a lot of different things we've advocated on. So we have the connections in Concord, in administration, on campus, in Student Senate. We have the expertise, and we also have the passion, and that experience is irreplaceable, and we have worked incredibly hard to get up to that point. And honestly, when it comes to experience, connections, and ability to actually implement change, there's no comparison.
Hi, my name is Ugo Chukwu Uche, and I'm running for Student Body President.
Hey, my name is Jesse Arsenault, and I'm running for Student Body Vice President. We know that student politics, it's the best opportunity you have to help your fellow students, and the Student Senate is it's a beautiful thing. They actually give the students a lot of say here in the Senate University of New Hampshire, which is really encouraging, and it made me want to get in. So I joined the Senate. As soon as I heard about it, my roommate's actually Dylan Palmer, the currently serving president. So I jumped on that, and then my buddy Ugo here, who I know he cares about people. He goes on mission trips all the time. He's been to Africa, he's been to Costa Rica. So I know this guy cares about people. So it really excited me when he asked me to run with him, and I couldn't say no.
Another reason that we're running for Student Body President and Vice President is we're motivated by the concerns of our fellow students, and we're hungry to contribute to a monumental change because we crave excellence.
And when he says excellence, our bar for excellence is like when the students are happy, we're happy. So like excellence in some people's minds, we're not going to try to micromanage this university like we want. It's all about pleasing as many people as possible.
I'd say the first issue on our platform is
Funding.
you'd say funding?
Say funding.
I'm not sure about that. I'd say UNH parking policies, and we actually have a great idea for this. We've given it some good thought, and we have this idea called EDD. It's eradicate drunk driving. We plan to do this through knocking down ATO, the former ATO fraternity house, and building a parking structure. We want to talk to administration about this and UNH Senate, but basically what our plans to do are we would have an all parking pass where you can park in any parking lot on campus as well as in this parking structure for the entire year, and obviously it's going to come with a cost, but it's going to be convenient to students as well as for students that just want to park for 24 hours. That's also going to be possible, and that's going to prevent drunk driving, which is a big issue on campus. I know I've spoken to a lot of my friends, and I've been to parties at UNH, and the amount of people that jump in a car and say that I've only had a few drinks, I've only had a beer or two, but maybe a beer or two turns into 4 or 5 beers, it's just unacceptable. And the former ATO fraternity house is right in the center of campus. It's on Main Street, right by the bars, so we think that this would be a exceptional idea.
This isn't an in-stone idea. This is just one of the main ideas. Basically what he's saying is we need a new system. Parking is just horrendous. And the thing is, the university can benefit off of it because there are people willing to pay for better parking packages. Because right now, I'll give you an example. Say you're living on campus and your boyfriend or girlfriend wants to come visit you late at night. You're having a hard time. She comes over, she visits you. The next morning, they start giving out a ticket at 7 a.m., but you can't go buy a parking pass because they don't open until 8. So no matter what you do, you're going to have a ticket at 7 a.m. unless you go wait with your car for an hour. It just doesn't make sense.
And to piggyback on this idea, I've also talked to current students, and they're moving in August, and their parents are dropping them off at school, and they're just staying for a day, or maybe they're staying for half of a day, and they end up going home with a $60 ticket. it's unacceptable.
I'd just like to throw in that even though we're passionate about this parking thing, I think the most important thing, because parking is part of this, is money. Saving students as much money as possible, leaving college with as least debt as possible. So change actually is possible. It's just, do people have time in their schedule? Do the candidate have time in their schedule once they're in office to at least give this thing a chance to happen? That's constant pressure on the state, constant pressure on the federal government. We have the lowest percentage of grants and discounts for in-state students for University of New Hampshire in the whole entire country. So just through effort and taking the time, you have a candidate who's willing to do that. I think there's hope. And
My name is Asif Niazi. I'm running for student body president, and I'm a sophomore.
Hi, I'm Chris Thornton. I'm also a sophomore running for student body vice president.
The need, for me personally, it goes back to my background and seeing a need in a legend, trying to cover it up. I feel like there's too much power in this position for student body themselves to not know about it. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of issues that personally affect us that aren't being addressed, and we want to take that to the administration and get that addressed.
Personally, I have a long history of serving leadership positions in different organizations. I was an Eagle Scout. I ran a branch office for the marketing company I worked for after college. When I came to college, it was just sort of a natural progression. It was like the idea that, if there's something that I could do to help other people out and sort of make the living situation at UNH better for everybody, then I definitely want to be part of that. When Asib came to me and asked me to be his vice president running, there wasn't even a second thought in my mind. He was student body president in high school and middle school also, so he knows a lot about student government in general. And for me, like, the whole leadership and I get this kind of cross ability with leadership and sales, like marketing and stuff. So my real goal is to unify the student body and also be able to sell our ideas to the administration.
For us, the main platform, I guess, there really isn't just one thing that we want to work on. We work on a lot of things, like medical amnesty for the Greek life. They really need it. We want to work on lowering the tuition. But our main, overall arching goal would have to be that we want to increase school spirit, make them bleed blue and white, make them be proud to be a UNH, student. When you walk around the UNH campus, you don't get the feeling that you belong to something greater than you. And we want to create that sense, and we want to create that feeling for everybody. So 10 years from now, 20 years from now, they remember the experiences that they had, and they remember being part of a larger group than, just being a student. They're a student of UNH. They're going to bleed blue and white.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I don't think I'm the only person that feels this, but when you come to UNH, you don't really get the feeling that everybody's totally pumped to be there. You know what I mean? It's not a lot of people's first choice college. Some people it definitely is. It wasn't mine. And you kind of get here and it's state school and it's kind of rainy and nasty half the year. But when it comes right down to it, we do a lot of really awesome stuff at UNH. And I feel like we're kind of lacking in distributing that knowledge. People don't realize the successes that people that graduate UNH have, and even the things that people accomplish while they're here as far as research goes and as far as, academic accomplishments. I mean, a lot of stuff happens, and I feel like as leaders in the student body senate, that was something that we could definitely do, is help people understand what a great, thriving organization this really is. And so that people walk around with a little UNH swag, a little strut. So that's what we're going for.
We want to have a proactive approach to getting students involved, Student Senate has been here for 30 plus years, 40 now, and we wait for people to come to us to tell them about issues. Why can't we reverse that and go to them, talk to them about issues? I talked to a lot of students on campus. I talked to a lot of students in the Union Court, and when I ask them how much they know about Student Senate, they're like, "We know the name." I'm like, "That's fantastic. I mean, that's a really good start. Do you know what we do?" And they're like, "Yeah, we know the name." So it stops at that. So I don't see why there can't be a proactive approach to getting students aware of their rights, aware of the school itself and all the good things we do at the Senate.
Yeah, we've actually already started that process of going to people and asking to see what they want changed. I know for a lot of our underclassmen, housing is overcrowded and people are getting forced into triples and things, and they're not happy with that. There's nothing they can do about it. But we feel like there would be something that we could do about it. Maybe the administration doesn't realize what an issue that actually is. We've talked to a lot of fraternities and sororities, and one thing that everybody's kind of looking for is medical amnesty for Greek life. That's obviously that would be a big push. But we're definitely down to go and talk and try to make something like that happen. Because personally, I think it's a great idea. I don't know. We're sort of looking around and trying to get other people to tell us what they need. You know what I mean? And we want to take that approach rather than trying to guess.
The greatest part of leadership is listening, and I think once you start to listen to people, issues start to come up. People start telling you things, and we've used that approach, and student body's talking, and we're hearing them loud and clear.